From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
A warm welcome to the Primetime News Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. This bulletin, as always, is available across Europe on London-based ABN television. In this edition, chaos in Parliament as NPP and NDC MPs trade accusations about which of their regimes was more tainted with narcotic cases.
How on earth can anybody carry this 12 kilograms? Because this is 12 kilograms. Carry this, do an effort, and nobody look at the person. Because we got 2 kilograms, 10 kilograms in a handbag. Because we got 10 kilograms in a handbag.
3 suspects charged here in Ghana for abetment of crime in the exportation of narcotic drugs in connection with recent arrest of Ghanaian in London with 12 kilograms of cocaine. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete has been sharing fresh information gleaned from Nayele Amathapa, the suspected drug trafficker. Also in the bulletin, police worried about drivers getting intoxicated on pills rather than the usual alcohol as the country marks National Public Transport Day. And while Municipal Assembly vows to pull down structures being built without the necessary permits. Also coming up in the bulletin, we have business, sports, showbiz, and international news in the next 60 minutes. Stay tuned.
News at 8 with Israel Lai. News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Proceedings were disrupted for about 10 minutes in Parliament on Tuesday after heated debate between NPP and NDC members over whose government saw the most drug busts degenerated into insults. The House could resume proceedings to consider the 2015 budget statement only after the 2 leaders of the House had been called into the Speaker's chamber to resolve the feud. It all started when Deputy Minority Leader Dominic Nitwool appeared on the floor of Parliament with 2 mini bags of rice to question how cocaine weighing 12.5 kilograms was recently smuggled through security at the Kotoka International Airport.
The demonstration by the Deputy Minority Leader Dominic Nitwool with the 2 bags of rice was in relation to the recent arrest of a Ghanaian in London in her attempt to smuggle cocaine to the UK. The Deputy Minority Leader, who had truncated his submission on the 2015 budget, questioned how the suspected trafficker was able to outsmart security at the Kotoka International Airport with such a large quantity of cocaine.
How on earth can anybody carry this 12 kilograms? Because this is 12 kilograms. How on earth can anybody carry this? Do an effort and nobody look at the person. Because we got 2 kilograms, 10 kilograms in a handbag. Because we got 10 kilograms in a handbag.
But his comments suggesting that government was aiding cocaine barons did not go down well with the majority.
I can assure you that in the minds of the people, Ghanaians, sticking cocaine on the majority will never stick. Any honorable member was ever arrested with drugs. It's on the other side. If you want to go into political parties, and personalities who have perhaps indulged in this, we have known the wife and son of a speaker who was involved in cocaine deals.
The confusion got the Speaker of Parliament, Doajao, worked up. At this point, he suspended sitting.
With the greatest respect to all of you in this house, let us use the rules of the house. I want to suspend proceedings for 10 minutes. I want the leadership of both sides of the house. I want the leadership of both sides of the house to meet me in the Speaker's lobby.
The Speaker expressed disquiet about Dominic Nitiwul's conduct after he had advised him earlier to follow a certain procedure before making the cocaine statement on the floor of the House. But the Bimbilla MP says it is just a teaser to a statement to be made on Wednesday. Aisha Ibrahim, Joy News, Parliament, Accra.
Now, in a related development, 3 suspects arrested in connection with the recent bust of Nayele Amathofe in London for suspected trafficking of cocaine have been charged with abetment of crime. The 3, Abiel Ashite Ama, Ahmed Abubakar and Kisi Theophilos, who are currently in police custody, appeared before the Circuit Court to answer charges relating to the exportation of narcotic drugs contrary to sections 56 subsection C and 1 subsection 1 of the Narcotics, Drugs, Control Enforcement and Sanctions Act 1990 PNDC Law 236. They were said to have assisted Nayele to carry 12 kilograms of cocaine through the VVIP lounge of the Kutuka International Airport prior to her arrest in the UK on November 9, 2014. A copy of the charge sheet intercepted by Asempa FM and signed by Richard Jembibi, Assistant State Attorney, reported the first accused person, Abiel Ashite Ama, and a foreign service officer, as saying he was contacted by one Alhaji Daoud to facilitate the passage of Nayele Amathofe and 2 other ladies through the VVIP lounge at the airport. Abiel is said to have then instructed the second and third accused persons, who also work at the airport, to facilitate their passage and boarding of a British Airways aircraft. Preliminary investigations, according to the charge sheet, indicate the second and third accused persons facilitated the passage of the 3 ladies by processing their passports and boarding documents. Additionally, the accused persons carried the luggage of the said ladies onto the aeroplane for departure to the United Kingdom. We're taking a break, but there is more. We have more on this cocaine arrest incident, so do stay tuned. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Right, we're returning to earlier stories on the recent cocaine bust. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete says the Ghanaian lady arrested in London for the attempted smuggling of cocaine into the United Kingdom says she was of the understanding she was carrying gold and not narcotics. The Foreign Affairs Minister, who was relaying information gleaned by some consular officers who went to visit the lady in a London cell, gave details of how the cocaine found its way onto the plane for the flight to London. And Ateta was speaking on Accra-based FM station Radio Gold.
Okay, on Sunday, last week Sunday, my attention was drawn to a story on City FM that a lady called Ruby Edugency had been busted in London and that she had a diplomatic passport. And I thought that was highly unlikely. So I called a High Commissioner in the UK. And I told him that this story had come out in the Ghanaian media. And I wanted, was he aware of it? And could he check it out? So he said he'd get back to me. And in about an hour, he got back and said that he had checked. The lady was not called Ruby Edugency. She was called Nayele Amathofe. She was traveling on an Austrian passport, and she also had a Ghanaian regular passport. And then he went ahead to provide the details of the Ghanaian passport. So I said, okay, if that's the case, could he get our consular staff to find out what the situation was with the lady? And this is not unusual, Suhini, because whenever we've had notice in our missions all over the world that there are Ghanaians who are in difficulty, we send our consular officers to go and find out what the situation is and to see if there's opportunity to give them consular assistance. But by the way, it's not something that Ghana does. It's something that every country does. And I'm sure that you must have heard on a number of occasions, even diplomats over here, intervening with the foreign ministry or with any of the agencies of state to inquire about particular problems that their citizens have within the country. So I am informed that the following day he asked two of the consular officers to look for the lady, and as it turned out, she was in a detention center in Surrey. And when they went to visit her, apparently her first reaction was, well, you know, she didn't travel on a Ghanaian passport, so why are they there? That is the report I have. Okay. That's what she asked the officers who went to visit her. That she didn't travel on a Ghanaian passport, so why were they going to see her? And they said, well, they had heard that a Ghanaian citizen had been arrested, so they were asked to come and inquire. And she indicated that she had been on there. This is the story she told the consular officers, that she went through the VIP lounge, that she didn't carry anything onto the plane, that when she got onto the plane, somebody who was a ground staff brought a bag to her. She doesn't know who the person was, but the person knew her name and the seat in which she was sitting. And that she collected the bag. It was heavy. It wasn't possible for her to pick it up and put it in the overhead luggage compartment. So she opened the bag, she took out two packages and put them in her handbag. And then she put them in the luggage compartment. She said that as far as she was concerned, she didn't know that what she was holding was cocaine, but she thought it was gold. Now, whether that is true or not, Suhini, is not the point that I'm raising. I'm just reporting to you what she's supposed to have said to the consular officer. So whether she knew it was gold or whether she knew it was cocaine, I'm not in a position to judge.
Right.
And she wasn't ready to give them any more information. And when they tried to ask her, you know, who was the person who sent the guy to bring her the bag on board and all of that, she said she wasn't prepared to say anything else. That, you know, she was ready to undertake this activity because the money was good. But she was resigned to the fact that she had been caught and, you know, she was ready to do the time in jail. And she was not going to give any further information.
Now, she added that a top businessman whose name is being withheld for now is wanted in connection with the cocaine smuggling attempt. She however insists the man has nothing to do with the first family. Now, in other news, the Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Gloria Kwanzaa, is encouraging HIV-infected mothers to adopt healthy lifestyles which will not endanger the lives of their newborns. According to her, Ghana has no broad policy on the issue of HIV transmission and breastfeeding, hence the need for mothers to take up the responsibility to keep their babies alive.
Children of less than 1 year account for 4% of the total population, but 15% of HIV cases in Ghana. According to Deputy Director of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Gloria Kwanzaa, an HIV-positive mother, after receiving counseling and information from health officials, is left to make a choice on whether to breastfeed her child or not. The trend, she said, is not helping, as about 30 to 40% of infected HIV mothers risk passing on the virus to their children.
In Ghana, the indicator we look at is the proportion of pregnant women who are tested, who are positive for HIV. If a woman is HIV positive, then it's possible that she can transmit the virus to her child, her unborn child, or after the baby is born, during breastfeeding. or 100 mothers, HIV-infected mothers, about 30 of the babies will be. We have to go further to prevent the mother-to-child transmission. That is what we are doing, PMTCT.
She added, fear and stigmatization are the major factors accounting for the trend. But if mothers avail themselves to thorough counseling with health officials, the lives of many babies will be saved.
Now we give, after the testing, we give treatment to the mothers. Then when the babies are born, we also give them some treatment. And then now we test the infants at birth. We do some tests to find out whether the baby had the virus. Then at 6 weeks, we repeat the test. And then after 18 months, we do repeat the test. And then the mothers and the babies are put on the medication.
She encouraged pregnant women to seek early medical treatment to know their HIV status and save the lives of the unborn babies.
One person was killed in the Upper West Regional capital on Monday when a two-story building under construction collapsed. 2 others were seriously injured in the incident, which attracted scores of people to the site. Meanwhile, the Wa Municipal Assembly says the construction was not covered by a building permit. And well, today, the Wa Municipal Assembly, or the Wa Municipal Chief Executive, Isahaku Nuhu Putia, went to the scene, and he says the Assembly will be pulling down all buildings in the municipality without permit. He was speaking to Joy News' Upper West Region correspondent Rafiq Salam shortly after visiting the scene of the partial building collapse in the town.
You can imagine. The building inspectorate of the Assembly will be empowered to pull down structures that are without permit.
Just telling people that the building inspectorate, certainly we have to beef it up to make sure that they have the requisite human resource to do the work, to make sure that no building in the municipality is without permit and other things. So once this one has come up this way, without permit they built up to this level, I think there could be others, not denying that fact, but we'll make sure we do a survey of all the buildings to see whether we have some without permit that are coming up.
He said the building was continued in defiance of a directive from the Assembly for the project to be stopped.
What actually happened yesterday, I'm told, was that the people who went there, they were trained to go and remove the box that they used to do the
counter levers.
The counter levers. So they went to remove the box, the Wawa box, and in their process of removing the box, part of the veranda sheeted off or fell off on one of them. And I think that they were not there to build. They had stopped work long ago. And we're now going in to ascertain whether we can give permit. And it's also against the law for you to start building before you apply for a permit. These were all the issues. And even the land, there were some safeguard issues. Based on that, we could not give them permit. I think by just notoriety, without permits, they will go in the night and build. So when we realize, we move to the site to finally stop them.
A report by Rafiq Salam.
Now returning to Parliament, where debate on the 2015 budget statement began on Tuesday, with members of the minority expressing disappointment in the document. They explained, though the budget seeks to focus more on the energy sector to rescue the country from its current crisis, there is no clear direction as to how government intends to achieve this.
It was business as usual debating the 2015 budget statement on the floor of Parliament, whilst members of the majority applauded government for adopting stringent measures which they say will yield positive results. In 2015, minority members of the House expressed total disappointment, accusing government of doing very little to restore the declining cedi and the current power crisis.
This
projection, somebody will look at it and say, the projections are low, but I do not see it that way. If we have projections for 2014, and because of the economic outlook, and because of the challenges that we have, which definitely members will come out with during the course of the debate, we'll be able to achieve a growth of around 6%, then a projection of 3.9% is something that will be achieved. Mr. Speaker, the city has depreciated by 31% against the dollar, 29% against the euro, 29% against the pound, and 26% against the euro. Mr. Speaker, with these economic indicators, can we say honestly that the 2014 budget supported macroeconomic stability? Ghanaians will be asking the following question: will the budget 2016 grow the economy? Will the budget reduce the cost of doing business? Will the budget create jobs? Will the budget stop corruption? Will the budget end the two-drop law?
The 2015 budget seeks to achieve an overall growth rate of 3.9%. But members of the minority say certainly this is not daring enough, especially for an oil and gas producing economy like ours. For the budget to have a transformational agenda, bold decisions, they say, need to be taken regarding industrialization, mechanization of agriculture, infrastructural and human resource development. Aishi Ibrahim, Joy News, Parliament, Accra.
Health facilities in the Ashanti region say they are unable to render good quality service to patients due to delayed payment of health insurance claims. Authorities say they cannot buy basic drugs and other logistics as the National Health Insurance Authority has failed to pay them for services rendered. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports.
Between 80 and 90% of hospitals and clinics' clients are on NHIS, which gives them the bulk of their revenues. But for the whole of this year, the NHIA has only paid health facilities up to March, except one, which has received payment up to May. NHIA owes 5 government hospitals nearly 5.5 million Ghana cedis, accumulated over the last 6 months. They include the Tafo Government Hospital, Maternal and Child Health Hospital, Suntreso Hospital, and the Kumasi South Hospital. Facilities owe the regional medical stores so much it is unable to supply most of the essential drugs, compelling hospital authorities to fall on private pharmacies for supply. Kumasi Metro Health Director Dr. Kwesi Yabuewuti laments capitation is killing hospitals in the region. According to him, low charges for services under capitation for the same number of patients put facilities at a disadvantage compared to other regions.
Meanwhile, the hospitals owe so much that their creditors are refusing to offer products and services to us again on credit. The facilities are owing the regional medical stores so much that the regional medical stores is not able to supply most of the essential drugs. Health facilities therefore resort to private pharmacies for supply of essential medications on credit when they visit the health facilities, but are asked to go to pharmacies in town to look for their medications. Most patients complain that they spend hours moving from one pharmacy to the other because either the pharmacies don't have the said medications or they refuse to give clients with any.
He cites the Menchia Hospital, which has nearly 109,000 patients but received just about 370,000 Ghana cedis from January to October. He says for the same period, a district hospital in another region with the same number of OPD attendants would have received at least 965,000 Ghana cedis. This means Menchia Hospital received about 600,000 Ghana cedis less than what it would have received in another region. Dr. Yabuewuti appealed to government to prevail on the NHIA to reimburse health facilities to relieve them of their financial difficulty.
Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
Well, public health facilities in Kumasi could have their power disconnected as the Electricity Company of Ghana continues its mass disconnection exercise for unpaid bills. The hospitals and clinics are said to owe the power distributor huge sums of money. Another report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Clinic, for instance, owes 10,000 Ghana cedis, and the authorities are under pressure to find money to settle it before the ECG's unspecified deadline. The Awumaso clinic had to run without power for 3 days before supply was restored after agreeing a payment plan to settle its over 3,300 Ghana cedis debt. About 11 public health facilities are likely to be affected if ECG goes ahead with its threat. Metropolitan Health Director Dr. Kwesi Yeboah questions the basis for low fees charged by health facilities when utility service companies slap commercial rates on them.
As of now, we are owing 10,000, and they are saying that we should find this too. In fact, and the reading is such that on the average, every month we are supposed to pay about 1,500. Even if we organize, control of everything, we will not pay less than 1,500 a month, commercial rates. But now we are owing 10,000. But what I'm saying is that there's Awumaso clinic. If you know the audio, Awumaso clinic, they put it off. It's a small clinic. They were owing 3,300. They put it off. We had to go and talk about it. So it's all the hospitals in Kumasi. The government hospitals, we are 11.
He wants government to restrain the ECG from disconnecting power to facilities since it will result in loss of lives and perishing of drugs. Dr. Yeboah also spoke about the load shedding exercise which he says is taking a toll on the finances of hospitals which have to buy fuel to run their generators.
Because they have to resort to fuel for their generators. With very little funds, the hospitals may not be able to buy fuel for their generators and hence could deny patients of certain critical services. Worst of all, the Electricity Company of Ghana has sent warning to our facilities that they will disconnect facilities which are owing them substantial amounts. In fact, last week, power to one of our facilities was disconnected because they owe ECG. They were in darkness for 3 days, and that was a small facility. They don't have a generator.
Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report from the Ashanti region.
Ghana is said to be making significant strides in the prevention of mother-to-child HIV transmission in the last 3 years. This officials say is a result of a 3-year capacity building project organized for health workers to facilitate counseling services at health facilities.
HIV prevalence of Ghana has slowed after peaking at 3.6% in 2003. The rate is said to have declined to 3.2% in 2006 and has remained at 2.1% from 2011 till date. This, according to health officials, was achieved through a project theme strengthening operational capacity of prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, through a counseling program that has been in place for a number of years. Head of Clinical Care at the AIDS Commission says it was established in its current form in 2013. A new strategy to reinforce the national prevention of mother-to-child transmission.
Basically, this is an implementational project, not purely a research project. Okay, so the whole project, you are doing the project and implementing whatever you are doing as you go along to be able to deliver PMTST services, that is prevention of mother-to-child transmission services. Number two, we also developed a handbook which can be used by the healthcare providers to help them to deliver the qualities of service that we require.
The new educational and entertainment tool titled Mama's Determination consists of a video drama, photo drama book, and interactive cards aimed at facilitating counseling services for PMTC at all health facilities.
Okay, so all the information that they need to practice. When they come to train, the training materials are so voluminous and varied. And so through this project, we'll be able to condense a lot of the information in a handbook, which is easy reference, which the practitioner can carry and make reference to. We can even use it to educate the client and all that. So we'll be able to do that.
The 3-year project, which was developed by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, in collaboration with the Ghana Health Service and the Ghana AIDS Commission, which was organized for health officials within the Greater Accra region, is expected to be replicated across the country. Matilda Pamaga, for Joy News, Accra.
Now, Deputy Brong-Ahafo Regional Police Commander ACP Patrick Osei Asare has expressed worry about the increasing number of drivers who are getting intoxicated not by consuming alcohol but by taking pills. According to him, the phenomenon is particularly worrying because unlike alcohol, which produces fumes, it is very difficult to detect this form of intoxication. ACP Patrick Osei Asare was speaking at this year's National Public Transport Day at Sunyani.
In the world of business, my name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. We're still talking about the IMF discussions, and now Deputy Minister of Finance Mona Korte says government is making great progress in its discussions with the IMF on a bailout program. She says government has not delayed in any way and is on track in securing a program from the IMF.
The IMF was here a couple of months ago to do the data gathering, so that process went well. A communique came out, and you all saw that. They did say they would come back, and they did come back. So they've been here for the last 10 days or so, and we've been in negotiations and in discussion. It's not exhaustive yet, and they will give out another communique before they leave. Eventually, when we have agreed the terms of a potential program or a possible program, they will then take that to their board to review, because we are members of the IMF as a nation, Ghana. Therefore, we are entitled to seek assistance from them. And what we are looking at is a support for balance of payment and technical assistance. So they will take our requests and our negotiations with them to their board. And the board will give an approval, or otherwise most likely an approval, and then they will communicate that to us. Therefore, in terms of timing, that is not too much in our hands, and they will communicate the next steps forward, because we've done what we must do with them. So we should hear from them. But even as they are doing that, remember that we have our homegrown policies, which they reviewed during their Article 4 visit and saw it, and we are on track with that. We are on track, and this budget speaks to the transformation and even to the stabilization, and the fact that we are working towards bringing the economy back on track.
Away from the IMF to something on the pause. Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki, is asking the Ghana Standards Authority to ensure the Export-Import Amendment Act 2000 is amended before they go ahead with the implementation of the Ghana Conformity Assessment Program, GCAP. He insists the law gives local inspection companies the mandate to do the conformity assessment on imports at the point of entry and not elsewhere, a purpose the GCAP defeats. The Ghana Conformity Assessment Program GCAP, to be introduced by the Ghana Standards Authority, is to ensure the prevention of substandard and fake products on the Ghanaian market in order to protect the health and safety of consumers as well as the environment. For the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, although not against the safety of the goods consumed by Ghanaians, the Ghana Conformity Assessment Program GCAP must conform to the law.
Export and Import Amendment Act 2000. The Act itself is Act 503. They give the opportunity, the powers for the inspector to appoint inspection company. And that is the mandate was for Ministry of Trade and Industry. And Ministry of Trade appointed destination inspections. Now we have 5 destination inspection companies in this country. Per that law, one of the mandate was that they were supposed to ensure quality, quantity, price, and other specifications of import goods are in conformity. What is SGS talking about? In fact, before we should go to that GCAP issue, we need a law. We need to amend this law. Before, from the day of the inception of this law, Ghana, as a country, we cannot do any inspections of our goods outside our borders unless the goods arrive in the country by the law. That's what the law says.
He argues that the GCAP will be costly for importers and exporters, and when implemented without thorough discussions and consultations, will lead to the loss of government revenues.
We cannot be throwing money into the guests like that. We cannot. They're important, not a charitable organization. We cannot go there, afford to go there. Look, those days when they were doing pre-shipping inspection to do conformity or whatever, they were not doing inspection in the country. We were not paying 1% of the CIF. Today, because of we are not doing destination inspection, we are paying. So how can you go there and pay, come here and pay? In 2013, I think the country made 68 billion or so. I've forgotten the figure. If we had done that percentage they want to do, the 0.5, they were going to get $19 million. Those 2 companies would have gotten $19 million from the people of Ghana. And this money will only give it 20%. The rest goes to them. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make economical sense. Our youth, the current budget says that we cannot employ for the next how many years. But if this job will even be done in Ghana here, they will employ. When the destination inspection company came to this country, didn't they employ Ghanaians, team youth? Why must we? So how many Ghanaians can they take to go and work in their labs? How many Ghanaians would they employ?
Samson Asake meanwhile hinted the Trade and Industry Ministry has permitted the implementation of the GCAP on a pilot basis after deferring it for over a month. Abigail Adamakunchi for Joy News. Well, we'll see how the GCAP turns out. Well, we'll go to Dambai, where the market there, that's in Karachi East District of the Volta region, is in need of a proper structure. Traders in the market are unhappy about the state of the market and are appealing to government to come to their aid by providing them with proper structures.
They lamented because there are no proper structures, they trade at the mercy of the weather, rain or shine. According to the traders, the situation is slowing business. Yam sellers occupy about 70% of the market since it is the main crop produced in the district. Nonetheless, no proper provision has been made for an appropriate yam market. Some of the yam sellers shared their frustrations.
I've got a road from Kwanta branch to Jare. The road is not prepared. We are fighting for that road. If the road is safely, you know, we in Jare people and all the villagers, we are saying we are not going to suffer here again.
The size of the yam determines the price at which it's being sold. The price of the sack varies. We buy some at 150, 200 and 300 Ghana cedis. We need structures in the market. We are bitten by the rain anytime it rains because there are no structures in the market. Business is also slow as people are not buying. We are pleading with authorities to put structures in the market for us.
The yam business comes with lots of problems apart from transport issues. You have to pay people who load the yam. It rains every market day. This makes the floor muddy, affecting trading activities. But we have nothing to do but to go about our businesses in the rain.
Here, garbage management too is a problem. Ibrahim Tanko sells timber. He said the situation is unbearable when authorities refuse to empty the containers whenever they are full.
The boiler here tracks. Even this one is better. Sometimes they will dump the boiler to the markets, all the markets. So sometimes if who come to markets, they are not having some place to do their business. So the last we complained about that, and we went to Kasami. So this is called the Zoom Lion computer, and they came to work. But now we don't know. Actually, even the cars, we're not seeing their cars. Whether the cars spoil or not, we're not seeing them.
The Dambai market is the biggest and oldest in the Karachi East district. Kumla Ado's report for Joy News.
And that'll be all for business. I'm Abigail Adumakwentri. Sports comes up next with George Ado Jr.
There's a lot to talk about in the world of sports. Let's begin here in the country. And Ashanti Gold are close to turning down the opportunity to represent Ghana at the CAF Confederations Cup next year due to financial constraints. Ashanti Gold, who were considered replacements for MTN FA Cup runners-up Inter Allies FC, pulled out due to financial demands, despite receiving a $50,000 boost from sponsors MTN. Heart of Lions, who are making their debut appearance in Africa, have accepted the offer to play in the CAF Champions League after finishing second at the Ghana Premier League last season. Asante Kotoko have confirmed they will take part in the CAF Confederations or the CAF Champions League. However, rivals Hearts of Oak are yet to arrive at a decision later on, in the day, to find out whether they would take part in the CAF Confederations Cup. Let's do some more then. The Nigeria Football Federation is yet to take the entire World Cup booty after FIFA indicated it will further delay the payment till the current leadership crisis in Nigeria football is sorted out. The infighting began after the World Cup in Brazil and is showing no signs of ending. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football will hear the Ghana Football Association's plea to have a decision to disqualify its under-17 team from participating in the Niger showpiece for age cheating. Over.
FIFA is delaying the release of $9 million to the Nigeria Football Federation as its prize money for the 2014 World Cup because of the crisis in the administration of the game in the country. Top NFF official Musa Madu has confirmed that Nigeria are yet to receive a $9 million prize money they earned at the last World Cup because of its leadership crisis that has bedeviled the country. While the Ghana Football Association faced a similar onslaught from government, the leaders of the federation were able to stave off the challenge, which allowed FIFA to release the money of their participation. Nigeria has witnessed several changes in the administration of the game since the tournament, which has resulted in FIFA's reluctance in releasing the money. The leadership tussle began soon after the country's exit at the hands of France and Brazil 2014. Amadu also said they are very much aware of the $3.8 million advanced to them by the federal government to offset the appearance fee of their players at Brazil and are obliged to refund it once they get it.
All right, so now time to talk about the CAF Champions League, of course. the UEFA Champions League, not there. So we're moving from the CAF Champions League story, definitely. But now to talk about the UEFA Champions League, and there have been great results coming in. Records, I have to say, because Lionel Messi over the weekend did fantastic in breaking a record in the La Liga that was set by Zara. He has done the same tonight by breaking another record in the UEFA Champions League, breaking Raul's 71-goal record and making it 72. Let's now get to what's happening, and it will first of all start with Group E. The game was already played. AS Roma drew 1-1 with CSKA Moscow. That should have given Manchester City some life coming into their game against Bayern Munich. These were the goal scorers, but Man City themselves are struggling right now as they play against Bayern Munich. The scoreline is 2-1, even though Bayern Munich are down by a man. Benicia was the man who got that one. Sergio Aguero got the goal for Manchester City, and of course 2 goals coming in by Xavi Alonso and Robert Lewandowski, who are actually down by a man. That's the situation for Manchester City. Let's stay in Group F here, and finally Luis Suarez gets his first goal for Barcelona after clearly 1 month playing for the team, and you wondered even when the team had scored 5 goals, he wasn't able to get the goal. A little Torres there in Barcelona, but he has the first goal, and he came today. And also we talked about the man Lionel Messi, who got the other goal for Barcelona, which means it's up to 72 goals, breaking the record of Raul Liverpool in the Champions League. Let's get on to the other game in Group F then. Paris Saint-Germain lead Ajax by 1-0. The man Edison Cavani has got that one. They have qualified and certainly through that again. And one that will put smiles on Israel's face is that Chelsea are leading Schalke 04 by 3-0 in Germany. Schalke played quite well in the first leg, but John Terry William and an own goal has ensured that Chelsea are leading by 3-0. They should top that group and qualify to the next stage. Maribor have their own ideas in the one as well. And this is what's happening in this particular game, just to roll it out there for you as well. Maribor have a chance in this. If they're able to get something from this, they can probably go through. But Sporting Lisbon are straight up there. In the final games as well, FC Porto beat Bate Borisov by 3-0. The game took place earlier on, but Porto should be sorted out in their group then, and we'll look at the final game in that particular group that is currently ongoing as well. And then let's roll out Shakhtar Donetsk, join goalless with Athletic Bilbao. There's still more in it. At least we know it's been a night of records and, of course, great results. And the good thing is that some great teams are getting through to the next stage of it. That'll be all for sports tonight. I'm George Adi Jr. Israel will join us with some more. You have a good night.
Now, this year's Save a Life concert, organized by High Life Act, Kwabna, saw a strong showing by the country's top gospel artists. There was the Tego Sisters, Daughters of Glorious Jesus, and Stella Seal, who all still enjoy quite a lot of fame. One group which evoked feelings of nostalgia amongst patrons on the nights was the renowned Asma 4 band. Here's why.
After 30 years of existence, Yao Sapong and the Asuma 4 gospel group, who probably have not enjoyed the level of recognition they deserve for their contribution to the genre, once again demonstrated to fans and patrons at the just ended Save a Life concert that they still got the energy to thrill. Another evergreen gospel artist who kept patrons on their feet throughout her performance was Stella Seal. Yao Sapong of the Asuma 4 band later had some advice for emerging acts on the gospel scene.
Right now, you know, there are so many new artists in the system. But what I can say that we all just want to raise the gospel of the Lord. I can just advise my fellow musicians, the gospel musicians, they should take time in the studio. When they are going to studio, they have to do the research good so that they can come out with marvelous works.
Meanwhile, both acts are promising to release new albums next year.
That'll be all for Showbiz. That'll be all for the bulletin. Before we go a quick run through our top stories, there was chaos in Parliament today as NPP and NDC MPs traded accusations about which of their regimes was more tainted with narcotic cases. 3 suspects charged here in Ghana for abetment of crime in the exploitation of narcotic drugs in connection with the recent arrest of the Ghanaian in London with 12 kilograms of cocaine. Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete has been sharing fresh information gleaned from Nayeli and Methophe, the suspected drug trafficker. The police are worried about drivers getting intoxicated on pills rather than the usual alcohol as the country marks National Public Transport Day. And the Wa Municipal Assembly is vowed to pull down structures being built without the necessary permits. That's it. My name is Israel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.